Hi, we're the Ramseths, Pastor Carol Ramseth and Mark Ramseth, and the reason that Carol and I are sitting here together is that since we were with you in Billings, our roles have reversed. Carol is now the pastor, and I am husband or spouse to the pastor.
And since, Mark, you started out on that topic, I
Go
want to
ahead.
say,
Go
okay,
for it.
that now, instead of me hauling my clarinet, I make you haul your cello,
That's
but you're taller, so you can handle it. And also, you're the one who waits for me, now I have to worship rather than me waiting for you. So it's really reversed.
Appropriately said. We remember Billings and King of Glory very well. And I should just tell you where we are today. We're sitting in Gloria Dei Chapel, which is the chapel at Trinity Lutheran Seminary, where I'm the president. We worship here in this setting once a day. Carol, for 4 years, worshipped here once a day as she was completing her degree to be a pastor. I think the design of this video is to give you some sense of what our remembrance was of King of Glory. I can remember just as clear as a bell what it was like to get a telephone call out of the blue from, at that time, Mission Director Pastor Harold Everson, who was calling from Billings. We were living in Marin County, close to San Francisco. We had 4 girls in school, and we're very active in our community, and I get a call out of the blue on a Saturday afternoon, and Harold says, Mark, I don't know who you are, but have you ever thought about the possibility of being a mission developer, and would you ever consider coming to Billings, Montana to start a new Lutheran church? Carol and the kids were in Glenwood, Minnesota. This was in August. They were visiting grandparents, and without consulting Carol, I said, Carol, we've never met before, but I'll do it. And then I had the business of trying to convince Carol and the family that Montana was the place we were going to spend the major portion of our life. And we are always grateful for what Montana has gifted us with, and for what our dear friends in King of Glory gifted us with.
And all we have to do is mention Montana around here. I mean, everybody knows that our roots are in Montana still. It's kind of a joke around the seminary.
Right. And it's true that our kids know that Montana is their home. So we will return, and we hope it's not too long from now. We will return.
But meanwhile, we've known this is really where God has wanted us to be. Yeah. And the seminary has truly been a blessing for us, this whole community. From the very first day that I started classes, not knowing what was going to be ahead for me, and not imagining that I'd ever become a pastor, it did feel like home. Just like the first day, I remember I took the kids to school, I said, in Montana. Took them on the sled down to school. I said, oh, this feels like home. Well, this has been home for us here, and we've been truly blessed with this place.
And if I were to think back on times at King of Glory, what I do here is spend most of my time working with students who are in discernment about ministry, trying to decide what it is that God's calling them to do. I'd have to say that the ministry that I had at King of Glory, the ministry of starting a new congregation in a community, is the formational piece for me as I look back on my ministry. What has gifted me by you people, the people in Billings, the people of King of Glory, is what has sustained me in my work here at Trinity Lutheran Seminary.
I just want to interject that I have to say thank you to Tom Schlaubeck. I probably wouldn't have gone to the seminary seriously, taken it seriously, if it hadn't been for Tom's encouragement. Right. Pastor Tom, thank you.
For those of you who were around at the beginning, started worship in January of 1984. We arrived in Billings in a Volkswagen bus with 4 little girls, or 4 girls spread over age 3 to age 15.
And it was cold.
And it was cold. And I can still hear the reverberations in the Volkswagen bus. It is freezing, Dad, and are we just doing this because this is your dream? There were teenagers in the bus, and they were very clear about the fact that they were not so happy about being dislocated from the California climate, especially in January. But if you remember, a number of us spent a significant amount of time sort of doing some legwork in the community, and thanks to Ron and Cheryl Steen and the Smith Funeral Chapel, we had our first service in the first week of January of 1984. And if I am correct, we had 87 people that came through the doors. Some of those were lifelong Lutherans that were joining us because they wanted to make an impact on a new congregation or an impact in a community where a new congregation was being formed. But others were people who were not so formed, who were searching for a place where their family could receive the ministry of the gospel. They came from many backgrounds. They came from all kinds of traditions. They came from no church background. And here was an opportunity to start anew at a place called King of Glory Lutheran Church. Maybe you have some remembrances of that too. I think we did some music that Sunday, and one of the first things that I think Carol made known to the community is that she wanted to start a children's choir. And the children's choir became pretty much central to the ministry that we shared together at King.
At least when I did. The children's choir and the Christmas programs, and so I remember the kids the most. But what's unbelievable is when we go back and visit now, those kids are the ones I see as adults, married with children, and it really puts life in perspective. But some dear, dear memories of the kids, and I know our girls were at that age where, well, the musicals at school in Furnace, barbecue for band. Oh, and Jean, my accompanist,